it's Mike's way. If it's Mike's way, it's Steve's way.
Yeah, Steven Schwartzman's private equity firm Blackstone has just acquired Jersey Mike's for $8 billion. And just a reminder, his company is the one that bought up all the homes in the United States and torpedoed the American dream. Now they're about to put an end to Jersey Mike's, who have, like, the best subs. I mean, come on, that looks good. And I was just reading through some of the comments on Reddit, and pretty much everybody knows the writing is on the wall. Like, this is the beginning of the end for Jersey Mike's. This is why we can't have nice things. Well, that's sad. I love JM, but the quality is about to nosedive. But I did see this other comment. Somebody said, no, they're buying Jersey Mike's because it is successful. They aren't going to intentionally run it into the ground the second they get control. Now, this does make sense in terms of traditional investing, but this is private equity. And these guys basically loot and ransack every company they can get their hands on. So today, I'm going to show you exactly how a private equity firm can make money while simultaneously bankrupting their investments. And we're going to do a little bit of fun math today. So the first thing to understand when private equity buys a company is that they're typically using something called an LBO, which is a leverage buyout, meaning they're going to use mostly debt to finance the purchase. So this is typically what happens. Let's say Blackstone buys Jersey Mike's for $8 billion. Most of that, I'm making up some round numbers here, $6 billion is going to come from debt financing, meaning that they're going to take a loan on it, and they're only going to spend $2 billion of their own cash to make this investment. First thing that they're going to do when they buy a company is they're going to gut the assets. So they're going to sell everything that they can sell. So think real estate, equipment, even IP. So in some situations, they would literally sell off the Jersey Mike's logo to some other company and then license the use of that logo back. And a lot of times they'll sell off these assets, like the real estate, to companies that they also own that are in their portfolio, which is like insane. So what they're going to do now with the money they've made from these asset sales is they're going to do a special dividend, meaning that this money now goes back into the private equity firm. So they've already basically, in this scenario, I'm just making up numbers here, but they've basically broken even already because they've now made $2 billion in these assets and their cash initial investment was only $2 billion. So now they've broken even. Step two is cost cutting. This is the part where I think a lot of people know about, is that they're going to go in, they're going to see where they can cut corners. I know Jersey Mike's, they bake the bread in the store, they hand slice the meat. So they say, okay, let's just move to prepackaged, save some money there. They're going to cut employees, do all kinds of different things. Through cost cutting, they can pretty easily turn a short-term profit, let's say $500 million over 3 years. So every year they're going to make $500 million, which becomes $1.5 billion in cash flow over the next 3 years. Now, step three is, of course, bankruptcy, because the new Jersey Mike's sucks and the food is not very good, so people don't want to go there anymore, and business suffers. Now, when business suffers, they can't pay off this debt that they still owe, and, they're just like, all right, let's just declare bankruptcy, everybody loses their jobs, and we can kind of just move on. And the reason why they can move on is because they've already made their money back. Remember, $2 billion in the initial investment. They sold off all the assets for $2 billion. Now that cancels out, so they've now broken even. And then they've made $1.5 billion from 3 years of cash flow before the company goes bankrupt. Now you're going to ask, what's going on with this $6 billion in debt? Well, this $6 billion is not their money. And the people who make these loans, they've already calculated this risk when they're making the loan. So if and when Blackstone defaults on the $6 billion, they're usually totally fine, no problems. And this is exactly what they did to Toys R Us. They basically ransacked that company into the ground. And in the end, the private equity firms are fine, the banks are fine, and the only people who are hurt are the people who lost their jobs and also the consumers who now don't have a good toy store. So yeah, this guy is just laughing his way all the way to the bank.